What do we expect from today's youth? Respect and good behavior, but unfortunately, we don't get that from every young person. Here we discover the dark sides of our descendants as they try to leave a mark on this world.
Shows that there is something significant and intentional in immediately starting another fire in the living room.
This is Dylan Schumacher. A jury found a 16-year-old defendant guilty of second-degree murder in March 2013 after he confessed to killing a youngster who was just about 2 years old. His girlfriend asked him to babysit her baby while she went to work, to which he agreed, not knowing what kind of obligation it is. After the baby's loud cry, he was left distraught and didn't know what to do, and after that, he decided to shut her up forever. From the moment he entered the courtroom, he could not hide his emotions and turned to the family of the baby who died and through tears said how much he loved that baby. He even made a statement.
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin. I loved him.
His lawyer tried to soften things up a bit for him.
Austin Smith was completely defenseless. That's a given. But there were other dynamics at work there.
But this was all just a disguise. The judge found evidence that he had written a message to his mother that the jury would feel sorry for him because he was a teenager, and that he would only pretend to cry in front of them, hoping for a lighter sentence. Well, it didn't go quite as planned.
And on July 23rd, 2013, in a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated, and I got a quote from the court reporter, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me."
David Moses, killer of an 81-year-old woman, resentenced to life without parole. His first trial was as a teenager, so according to the laws of that time, it was not possible to give him a life sentence. He just thought he could get away with it, but then the second trial came when he came of age. He behaved strangely at the trial. He was sleepy, smiling, totally uninterested in what was happening. Pure impotence. They say that he had a difficult childhood and that this monstrosity was created from that. He had a lot of criminal activities before. Sexually assaulted his sister, then his mentally disturbed cousin, and several more outbursts. The lawyer wanted to reduce his sentence, but luckily he did not succeed.
To give him that hope for the next 25 years, that he may have an opportunity to be returned to society.
After this trial, the judge sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Born January 18th, 1995, he's a Florida juvenile convicted of murder in the first degree of law enforcement officer from the St. Petersburg Police Department and sentenced to life in prison. The police were called that day due to the suspicious behavior of a man in front of the house. The policeman reacted quickly and found the young man, but then things go downhill. The burglar was armed.
What he did then is he fired, in his own words, 3 more rounds. He pointed at the officer's belly and hit Officer Crawford. He was struck 4 times, possibly 5 times.
After he killed the policeman, he ran away, but he was caught not long after. He showed no signs of remorse in court. His family also commented,
"Justice was served, and I'm glad it's over. And it just kind of proves to me that he's an animal," as he sat there smiling.
The judge ordered, so that's what it is. It is what it is.
In 2013, the assault occurred when Ottawa police responded to 117 East Woodland Avenue on April 22nd and discovered Braden Young, who was 2 at the time, unconscious. He was transferred to the University of Iowa Hospital and Clinics and subsequently the Ottawa Regional Health Center. He was in serious condition and had suffered major brain trauma. Early in June of last year, once police had finished their investigation, Armstrong was taken into custody. At first, he said the wounds were caused by an accident. The plea agreement led to the sentence. The good news is that Braden is making progress toward healing. At first, it was feared that the kid would not survive, but less than a year later, he is back to walking and speaking. Armstrong was first accused of many offenses involving child endangerment and malicious harm. For injuring a toddler, Dustin Dwayne Armstrong, age 20, was sentenced to 50 years in prison. When the judge told him the verdict, he could no longer control himself and burst into tears, overcome with emotion. realizing that a large part of his life would be spent in prison. Many people in the courtroom gave way to his tears, some from joy and some from sadness. 3 of the 6 students who were shot at Chardon High School in Chardon, Ohio, on the morning of February 27, 2012, died. The gunman allegedly had a personal grudge against one of his victims, according to witnesses. 2 further injured pupils were also taken to the hospital. One of them had many critical injuries that left him paralyzed permanently. The 5th kid had a superficial wound, while the 6th had a slight injury. He entered the courtroom decently dressed until the moment when he started to take off his shirt and something was written on the t-shirt underneath that horrified many.
Prosecutors have said publicly that TJ Lane chose his targets at random, but investigators tell CBS News that he knew his alleged victims well, and that one of the key factors that may have led to the shooting was that Lane's girlfriend had broken up with him the week before and started dating one of the boys he allegedly killed.
He was full of hatred and didn't give up that moment in front of anyone. Fortunately, a teacher happened to be there and bravely chased him out of the building.
I don't know why this happened. I only wish I could have done more.
He showed no remorse and even showed the middle finger to the families of the victims. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. For a hearing on probable cause, Jacob Morgan, 17, of Rock Hill, South Carolina, appears in court. In connection with the death of his 14-year-old sibling, he's accused of murder and arson. He cried throughout the court process, but it didn't help him.
And immediately started another fire in the living room. And then to claim it's an accident, that it got out of control, that's an extreme recklessness. And that's intent. That's maliciousness. That's a definition of malice.
He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The judge angrily added,
I agree with the family. I hope you die in prison as well.
He couldn't hold back after the decision and comments, so he just burst into tears. A 14-year-old boy was sentenced on August 2013 to life in prison with a chance at parole at age 50 in the hatchet killing of his great-grandmother in Sheboygan Falls. He was behaving strangely, from crying to laughing. He gave his statement to the judge.
There's a lot going around said by the news, DA, many other people, that I'm a cold, heartless, careless killer. And that's not true.
After the sentencing, he left the courtroom in tears, escorted by the police. These are all examples of bad youth and what they can turn into. Fortunately, the hand of justice is there to stop it all. If you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.